Hi, I'm Shanti Nolan. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm here to teach you how to make your own medicinal quality chai from scratch in your own home. I do this on a daily basis and have done so for every day for almost 8 years now. And I'm going to show you this specific recipe that was taught to me by my spiritual teacher, and it was taught to him by his teacher and his teacher, and back through the ages. Um, it's been passed down through this lineage that and used specifically for creating an internal environment where meditation can happen easily. And in order for meditation, which is the calming of your mind and the peaceful flow of your mind turning inward, in order for that to happen, pain in the body needs to be reduced. Pain and agitation in the mind needs to be reduced. And the right neurotransmitters that allow you to see the world in a good way need to be present in your brain and in your gut in order to allow meditation to happen easily. And so that's what this recipe does. It's a perfect blend of heating elements that allow your mind to stay alert without being tense, and allow your body and mind to be relaxed without being sluggish. So that being said, what we're going to do is I'm going to go through all the ingredients with their physical and mental benefits, and then I'll show you how to make it for yourself. Okay, so we're going to start with ginger root. Ginger root, you can get it at the store. It looks like this. And when it's really tight and curly, and when you open it up and you break it open and it's really yellow, I don't know if you can tell in this picture, but it's really yellow, then it's going to be really potent and strong, have a really strong spice to it. If you get ginger that's kind of fat and long, and when you crack it open, it's more whitish in color, then it's going to have less flavor. So you would need to use more of that ginger than you would if you're using the tight yellow ginger. So ginger is the first ingredient we use, and it is a natural body tonic. It reduces inflammation and pain in your body. In fact, I'm going to share my screen real quick so you can see this handout here. Ginger root is a natural body tonic. It restores balance and health to the body. Physically, it reduces pain and inflammation. It aids in digestion, and it supports your immune system. And most people know that about ginger. It's very good for you. However, what a lot of people don't know is its mental capacity to bring clarity and discernment. It's got this fire to it. It's spicy, and it brings us a sharpness, a clarity to your cognition, a clarity to your memory, and a clarity to your perception. So sometimes we wake up and we're like, you have questions, I don't know what I should do. Add a little extra ginger in your diet, and with the intention of it bringing clarity and a clearness, a sharpness to your perception, knowing the difference between what is truly good for you and maybe what's not as good for you, and being able to make that right decision for you. That's the quality that ginger brings. The next ingredient we use is cardamom. And when we use cardamom, we want to use the whole pods. We're going to grind it up in a coffee grinder. But cardamom, it comes in these whole pods, and when you crack it open, is these tiny little black seeds. And they contain an oil in it that is known as a nature's Prozac. It calms the nervous system. And this particular oil, when you buy it in the grocery store as a cardamom powder, it was probably ground up in China and sitting on the shelf for a year there, and then who knows how long it's been sitting on the shelf in the grocery store. And so you get it, and the medicinal quality, once that cardamom pod is ground up, it slowly begins to lose its potency, its medicinal quality. So we want to, in order to get the most medicinal quality out of it, you want to get the cardamom pods, and you can get green pods like I have, or you can get black pods. The black pods are a little bit more pungent. You can mix them up. The green pods are a little bit more sweet. And cardamom is a cousin to ginger, and I'll share my screen. Cardamom is native to the evergreen forest in India and is related to ginger and turmeric. Physically, it reduces inflammation and pain, just like ginger. It aids in digestion, just like ginger. It boosts your immune system because it inhibits the growth of viruses, bacteria, fungus, and mold. It soothes the nervous system, and it's rich in potassium, iron, manganese, B2, niacin, and vitamin C. And so, for nothing else, just for the physical benefits, it's incredible. But mentally, what cardamom is good for is that it reduces agitation and frustration, reduces anxiety, calms the mind, and it aids in depression. So cardamom is a great tool if you're having anxiety, anxiousness, hard time sleeping, worrisome thoughts, or depression. Anxiety and depression tend to go hand in hand. And so cardamom helps to reduce that. If you're feeling overwhelmed, cardamom is the answer. So what can I say about that? I think that's about it. You know, if you notice yourself being overly critical of yourself or others, really agitated, judgmental, this is another benefit of cardamom. It helps to soothe that. All right. The next ingredient that we use is saffron. I'll show this to you. So saffron are these tiny little red stamen. They're the stamen of a flower that's grown in high altitudes in India and in Spain. And this is one of nature's most potent spices as far as all of the capacity it has for healing. And this particular spice is now being used by pharmaceuticals companies they've taken out the active constituent and put it in a pill as an antidepressant. So this is known as nature's antidepressant as well. Oh, whoops, excuse me, let me share my screen here so we can read about it. So saffron is one of nature's most highly powerful herbs. The active components in saffron have many therapeutic applications in traditional medicines, such as an antiseptic, an antidepressant, an antioxidant, and an anticonvulsant. Physically, it reduces pain in your body. It aids in digestion. It improves your circulation. It improves learning and memory, and it increases oxygenation. So if you're getting more oxygen to your blood through your circulatory system into your brain, you're going to have a clearer mind, a better memory, and a better capacity for learning. Something else that saffron is helpful for is improving sleep quality. That's not written on here, but it does. Mentally, saffron reduces anger, fright, and shock. It increases the capacity for compassion, and it aids in in depression. So in India, in some of the anger management programs where people go and you live in a hospital or a place, they put extra saffron in their food in order to help eat away anger. If you have just been in a serious car accident where you hear some startling, frightening news, then take some saffron in with some milk, and it will help reduce the effects of that fright and shock and anger. And if you think about it, it's helping physically the heart and the circulatory system, but the heart is where compassion is. So when we improve the quality and the health of our heart, then compassion also naturally starts to shine through. So that is a powerful thing to have, something that eats away anger and builds compassion and reduces depression. All right. So I'll just keep this here. The next ingredient that we use is black tea. I'm going to move this over here. So black tea, unlike the high levels of caffeine found in coffee, the low amount of caffeine found in black tea promote the blood flow to the brain without overstimulating the heart or the adrenals. The caffeine in black tea hones mental focus and concentration, and studies show that the amino acid L-theanine that is found in black tea has been shown to reduce levels of the stress hormone cortisol after drinking 4 cups a day for a month. So black tea does have some caffeine in it, but it's very low amounts. But if you're highly sensitive to caffeine, you can use Tulsi tea. And Tulsi tea is a spice that is naturally decaffeinated, but also naturally energizing. So you can use black tea or you can use Tulsi tea. I don't recommend using a decaffeinated tea, like a decaffeinated black tea or decaffeinated green tea, because of the process of decaffeination. They use formaldehyde and some other chemicals that are not really great for you. So, so that's the black tea and decaffeinated tea thing. Physically, the black tea aids in digestion. It boosts your immune system. It strengthens your bones and connective tissue, and it prevents tooth decay. So that's one good thing about drinking black tea. And mentally, it brings clarity, concentration, and reduces stress levels. The last 2 ingredients we use are cow's milk, and we use whole cow's milk because in order for the ingredients to fully be absorbed into the cell, you need fat and sugar. And those 2 things combined are what take in nutrients into your cell. So whole cow's milk is one of the best foods for producing serotonin in your body. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter produced in the intestinal tract, and the fat that helps coat the nerves. So if you ever have that feeling, I feel fried, you've been staring at the computer all day, you just feel fried, it's because the coating around the nerves gets diminished. And then and then when you feel fried, you're not thinking clearly. So it's the fat that coats the nerves that allow the transmission of the neurotransmitters and the signals to cross from one nerve to the next. So when that fat layer is diminished, then the signals are not flowing as accurately and as quickly and fluidly, and it doesn't feel good. You can feel that friedness, that exhaustion that happens. So that's why we use whole cow's milk. Physically, it aids in sleep and it improves memory. And mentally, it aids in depression and uplifts mood because it's producing serotonin in your body. And serotonin is necessary in order to be happy. Sometimes we think that it's just about circumstances, but really our bodies are made of hormones and chemicals and an entire ecosystem that produce a state of mind that allows you to see things in a certain way. So for example, you can be having a good amount of serotonin and everything in your body is flowing very well. You've got the great hormones and very little stress hormones. And so you can be going about your day and maybe some things go wrong and you're like, hey, nothing can get me down today. That's because you've got an internal environment that's allowing you to perceive the world in a way that is uplifting, even when bad things happen. Now, the opposite is true. Maybe you have a ton of stress hormones and everything can be going great in your outer world, but all you are is stressed, anxious, upset, frustrated, and agitated. And that's because of the amount of stress hormones that are creating a perspective that sees the world in that way. I'm not saying that good things and bad things don't happen. I'm just saying that the neurotransmitters and the nutrients that your body has, your brain has, in order to function, do affect the way you see the world. So those are the ingredients that we use in this recipe. There are 2 additional ingredients that you can add as well if you're feeling a little extra inflamed in your body, a little extra inflammation or a little extra anger. And really, inflammation in your body is like pain in your joints, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, anything with an itis at the end. Acne is a form of inflammation. Excessive diarrhea is a form of inflammation. So that's inflammation in your body, but inflammation in your mind is anger. It's inflammatory. It's angry thoughts. And it's been shown that when you have an excessive amount of angry thoughts, it actually makes your pH in your blood more acidic. And a more acidic environment is more ripe for hosting diseases. So if you're feeling more angry, inflamed, stressed, then you can add turmeric and black pepper. Now, turmeric and black pepper go hand in hand. The black pepper helps to make the turmeric more bioavailable. So whenever you're eating turmeric, whether it's in your chai or you can, I like to, when I'm doing stir fries, I put it in my food, in the stir fry. You always want to use it with black pepper and with fat, because those are the 2 things that are going to make the turmeric more bioavailable and go right into your cells. Okay, so those are the ingredients. Now we're going to make it. It's very easy and it's fun. So the way we're going to do this is you're going to take a raw piece of ginger, which you get at a store, and the recipe is 1 to 1 to 1 ratio approximately. So for 1 cup of water, you're going to do about 1 inch of ginger. So your knuckle's about 1 inch. So this is about 1 inch, maybe a little bit more. It's just a kind of an estimate. Every piece of ginger there's no 2 pieces of ginger that have the exact same spiciness, tastiness. And so you just play around. Like I said, if it's a really big piece of ginger that's whitish in color, maybe you use 2 inches instead of just 1 for 1 cup of water. And what you do is you're going to take it and just wash it off. You don't have to peel it or anything. Just wash it off, and I've already done that with this. And take a little cheese grater and grate it right into the pan. And as you're grating it, this is an activating moment for the medicinal properties that ginger has. And so while I'm grating my ginger, I'm offering my gratitude, and mentally I'm usually saying, thank you for bringing clarity and discernment. Thank you for improving my digestion. Thank you for reducing pain and inflammation in my body. Okay. So what I do is if you're going to end up with a little chunk at the end so that you don't nick your knuckles scraping it, I just take that little chunk and I wipe off the grater, both sides, and I just put it in there like that. So that's what that looks like. 1 inch of ginger. Then we have 1 cup of water. I'm going to pour it in. And again, I'm going to pour it over this just to get every little last piece of ginger. And then we set that to boil. While that's boiling, what we're going to do is prep the saffron and the cardamom. Now, the amount of cardamom, again, it depends on how frustrated you're feeling that day, but generally it's between 8 and 16 pods, and this is 1 pod. So I'll do 8 pods today because I'm not feeling that frustrated. And I'll put it in my coffee grinder, okay, which is really my cardamom grinder since we don't drink coffee. All right. So I'll do 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 cardamom pods, and I put it directly into the grinder. And then once you grind it, it looks like this. Hold on, let's see. And you'll see the husks is in there. The seeds are ground up nice and small, but there are some big ones, and that's fine. So it's pretty simple. You just grind it for a couple seconds. And then again, when I'm grinding it, and I'm not talking about how to do this, the grinding time is the activating moment for the medicinal qualities that each of these herbs have. And so I'm just saying thank you for aiding and reducing my anxiety and stress and promoting good health and a calm mind. Okay, so that's prepped. And then we're going to use 1 pinch of ginger. Excuse me, 1 pinch of saffron. So a pinch, again, is going to be dependent on how you're feeling that day. If you're feeling extra angry and depressed, and you're like, I need a little more compassion in my life right now, then I might use a little bit more. But just on an average day, it's just a little small, tiny pinch. Now, this is a highly expensive herb. It's, if you can imagine, the way they have to cultivate this and harvest this is pulling the stamen out of every single flower. That is very labor intensive. And aside from being very labor intensive, it is extremely potent and medicinal in quality. So depending on how you're feeling and how much you want to use, it's just a pinch. So I'm going to use about this much in a pinch for today's cup. Place it in my mortar and pestle right here. A little pinch. And a teaspoon of sugar into the mortar and pestle. The sugar, the granules give it something to grind against. And then you just gently and lovingly grind up the saffron with the sugar. And again, this is the time where you really want to offer your gratitude for the medicinal quality that saffron has. Quality of reducing depression, and bringing compassion in your life, reducing pain in your body. Okay. And so once you grind it up, there's going to be a few, it's going to be powdery. It'll be a little pink. I don't know if you can see that. And you'll still see a few specks of the saffron stamens in there, but most of them are ground. It doesn't have to be extensive into like a fine powder. It's just enough to wake it up, enough to open it up so that the medicinal quality can really be absorbed into the water. Okay. And then right here we have our black tea. So everything is prepped. This is what you do. You've grated up the ginger and placed 1 cup of water into the pot. Let me see if I can move this around so that you can see what's going on. Sorry about that. All right, so we're going to set this to boil. Once the ginger starts to boil, that's the moment that you add in the black tea. So it's boiling. I'm going to reduce the heat. Add in 1 tablespoon of black tea. So we have 1 inch of ginger, 1 cup of water, now 1 tablespoon of black tea. Okay. Once you've added the black tea, you just give it a moment. You can smell it. You can offer your gratitude for the medicine that is being created in this pot. And then add in the cardamom and the saffron. Now the cardamom and the saffron, they need the least amount of boil time. The ginger is a root, so it needs the most amount of boil time. The tea is second, and then the cardamom and saffron are the last because you don't want to overboil them. So now it's boiling. And it smells incredible. Something that you can do is place your face over it and get a little steam. We call this our chai spa when we do that. It's really great if you're feeling congested or having a cold. You can make your chai and just breathe in the steam to help clear the sinuses. Because as you'll find when you get your own cardamom, it has a real eucalyptus-y, mentholy type of feel, and that's how it works in your sinuses. So now we're going to add the milk, and again, it's 1 cup of milk. So 1 cup of water, 1 inch of ginger, 1 tablespoon of black tea, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 pinch of saffron, and about 8 cardamom pods. 1 cup of milk. Okay. And so this is about the color of the chai that you're looking for. But given the fact that this is over the computer, I'm not sure how well the color is coming through. All right. So now is the time, as we're waiting for it to boil, don't go with the philosophy of a watched pot never boils. When you're making your chai, this is a time where you want to be really present. And this is a time that I'll either do mantras, prayers, or just affirmations of gratitude. And I watch it. I watch it as it boils. I watch it as it moves. And I won't go into the in-depth amazingness of all that I've learned over the years from making this incredible drink every day. But when you're actually present with it and do it with intention and with gratitude, it teaches you. This process is a practice that teaches you a lot about yourself and life and meditation itself. So it's kind of fun to watch. It's starting to boil. What we do is we're going to boil it 3 times, and what that means is that as soon as it boils and it rises up just a little bit, you're going to take it off just for a moment so it goes down, and put it back on. Bring it to a boil a second time, take it back off, let it go down, and put it back on to bring to a boil for the 3rd time, and then take it off. From here, we're going to strain it right into our cup. All right. So you take a mug, Keller Yoga mug, and a small strainer, and you place it right over here, and you pour. I'm going to move this video back over here. Pour it right into your cup. And serve. It's delicious. It's a little too hot to drink right in this moment, but it's just right. And then if you have someone in your family, like a husband or a wife, it's a really great thing, or teenagers. It's a really great thing to serve them. And when you're serving it to them, you're just sending them all the love that you just put into making the chai, and they get to drink that up, along with all the benefits of the spices and herbs. All right, so that's how you make it from scratch. I'm going to give you a really quick version on how to make it if you've purchased one of my chai bag mixes or one of the jars. Okay, they're the same thing. It's very easy. And the only reason I actually started doing this with the chai bags is because my husband and I love the chai so much, we didn't want to not drink it when we were traveling. So I decided to make up big batches of all the dried ingredients, so I didn't have to lug around my grater and everything in order to make it wherever we were traveling. So, and I've got a lot of funny stories about all the different places we've tried to make chai, and some pretty bad mishaps. It was funny, but anyways. So let me show you how to do this really quick. I'm going to get a new pot. All right, so same thing. You're still going to use a fresh thing of ginger and grate it, and it's going to be about 1 inch of ginger that you're using. And again, you put in all of your intention and gratitude when you're grating up the ginger. You're going to add 1 cup of water. Get all the extra ginger that's still on the grater. And set it to boil. Now, something that I didn't show you when we were making it from scratch, but something that you can do, whether you're making it from scratch or from the bag, is if you are feeling a little extra angry or inflamed, you can use a little bit of black pepper and turmeric, and you would put it in with the ginger, and you just do 1 little shake of black pepper. It's pretty spicy. And one little shake of the turmeric. Or 2 or 3, depending on how you like. Now turmeric, it has a really earthy, bitter flavor if you put too much in it, so you don't want to put too much. All right. So we're here again already. It's already coming to a boil, so I'm going to reduce the heat. This is 1 cup of water with, 1 inch of ginger and 1 shake of the black pepper and turmeric. And if you have one of the bags, pre-mixes of chai, either in a bag or a jar, what you want to do is make sure that you shake it up every time before you use it, because the heavy ingredients go to the bottom. So you can even put it into a different container that's a little bit bigger than the jar that it came in, or the bag, so that it has plenty of room to shake around. Now in this mix, there's black tea, there's sugar, there's cardamom, and saffron all in it. And what you're going to do is you're going to take 1 big heaping teaspoon, 1 big heaping tablespoon right in here once it boils. And depending on how strong you like it, I like it strong, so maybe I do a little bit extra. It's totally up to you. And as it's coming to a boil again, you're just offering your gratitude for its medicinal quality. And then you're going to add half a cup to a full cup of milk. And the way I measure it is based on color, not measurement. Because I like my tea strong, I don't always put in a full cup of milk. I'll just maybe do a little bit. That's actually pretty good. We're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to wait for it to boil, and we're going to boil it 3 times. And while we wait for it to boil, we sit with it, and we offer our gratitude. You can just say thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for improving my mood. Thank you for eating away anger. Thank you for reducing inflammation in my body. Thank you for taking away the pain in my body. Thank you for boosting my digestion. Thank you for boosting my immune system. And this is what you say over your chai as you're waiting for it to boil. So it's a very meditative and beautiful process. And it comes to a boil relatively quickly, especially when you're just making a cup or 1 serving. And the beautiful thing about making 1 serving is that it's actually 2 cups, so it's always fun to share. All right, so now it's coming to a boil. So now that it's coming to a boil, you're going to take it off, let it go down for just a second, put it back on, let it boil back up, take it back off, and then a 3rd time. Bring it to a boil and take it off. That's what it looks like. All right, and then from here, we do the same exact thing. We're gonna strain it right into our cup. And my husband just got done working for a lunch break and is probably wanting a cup of chai now. So I will pour him a nice big cup. Using the strainer, placing it right into our lovely I Love Keller Yoga cup and pouring it right into it. This cup is a little bit bigger. All right. There you have it. This is how you make medicinal quality chai that creates an internal environment that allows meditation to happen more easily. And when you think about what meditation is, it's simply a clear, calm, tranquil mind where your mind can flow effortlessly inward instead of being so consumed by thoughts and negative patterns. It just allows you to be steady and still. And in that steady and stillness, joy and peace come. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you make it. And if you have any questions, please email me at kelleryoga@gmail.com. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Otherwise, I hope you come see us in our studio or for any of our workshops or any of our online classes. Thank you so much. Have a great day.